the Great Northwoods to the Rockbound Coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, officials are investigating a fatal crash in Hancock County that occurred in Goldsboro. We'll have those details coming up. Plus, Washington County leadership is currently facing a legal battle. We'll bring you the very latest on that as well. And the Bangor Band and Thomas School of Dance are hosting a free summer concert tonight. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Janessa Bishop. Craig Colson is off for the day. We'll have those stories and much more coming up. And as always, we thank you for joining us. Now for the weather today, it seems like sunny skies are on the way with temperatures reaching the 80s. Let's start off this morning by getting a first check of our forecast. Devin Biggs joins us now.
Alrighty, Janessa, thank you very much. Happy Tuesday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Tick and Mosquito Guard. We stop ticks and mosquitoes. Now serving Washington, Hancock, and Penobscot counties. We are pet safe and have eco-friendly options available. Call today for a free quote. 207-263-3421. Alrighty, let's get into things this morning. We have a small craft advisory that is up until 8 p.m. as we head towards later on this evening. Watching for some active surf along the coast, courtesy of some gusty winds with an area of low pressure. Farther off towards the north, we do have a wind advisory up until 3 o'clock this afternoon. As we do push forward, the rain is moving out of here. We did have a thunderstorm in Canada earlier this morning. That has since fizzled out. Let's zoom things out right now, too. You notice some precipitation over the ocean. The area low pressure is tracking off to the north and east and taking the clouds with it. We will have a lot of sunshine today, which will be good, but it will be windy out there, too, with gusty winds up to 30 miles per hour. We will be mostly clear tonight as the winds back off. The hourly forecast, lots of sunshine today. It will be windy out there as temperatures warm into the mid-80s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Janessa?
All right, thank you, Devin. We'll see you a little later on. Well, first in the broadcast, flames destroyed a camper early on Monday. Hamden and Herman fire departments responded to a Newburgh couple's camper that caught on fire heading north on I-95. The couple's camper burned at a rest stop in Hamden. Hamden Deputy Fire Chief Jason Lundstrom says that the couple was headed to northern Maine on I-95 when they smelled burning coming from inside the camper. He says the owners pulled into a rest area at mile marker 175 where they and their pets were able to escape the burning vehicle. Emergency crews responded to the scene and put out the fire with no injuries or further damage to the rest stop. Chief Lundstrom says that there is not yet a definitive cause of the fire, but they are investigating the camper's utilities.
We believe some kind of a mechanical failure. We were working with the owners of that vehicle to kind of determine that. It's a little early to tell now, but they suspect that it was a mechanical malfunction, possibly with a refrigerator.
The rest stop was reopened for traffic shortly after the fire was put out. Lundstrom says that if any driver finds themselves in a similar situation, they should do the same as these owners did. When something is not right, pull over immediately and check it out before continuing. Well, meanwhile, police are investigating a fatal crash in Hancock County. State Police spokesperson Shannon Moss says that it happened just before 7 on Sunday night at the intersection of Route 1 and Old Route 1 in Goldsboro. According to Moss, the initial investigation indicates that 46-year-old Courtney Washington of Bangor was driving northbound on Old Route 1 when she failed to stop for a stop sign. Moss says her vehicle struck a Trailblazer driven by 39-year-old Heather Allen of Ellsworth, who was traveling eastbound. She says the impact caused Allen's vehicle to spin into the westbound lane of Route 1, and it was struck by another car. Moss says that caused Allen's vehicle to roll over. Allen did die at the scene. A passenger in her vehicle was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Washington sustained minor injuries and was taken to the hospital as well. The driver of the other car was also taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. That investigation is currently ongoing. Well, Brewer police are asking the public to review camera footage after multiple vehicle burglaries across the city. Over the weekend, police responded to several complaints regarding vehicle burglaries on Chamberlain and Burmer Streets. No suspect have been identified, but police say they are following up on a couple of leads. Brewer Police Captain Zachary Karen says that nearly every vehicle that was burglarized was unlocked, and he's urging the public to err on the side of caution.
It's good to get into a good habit of right before you go to bed, hit the lock button on your key fob, make sure your vehicle's locked, and try to think, did I leave anything valuable in my car that might be of interest to someone that wants to do crime.
The investigation of the burglaries remains ongoing. Well, amid the celebration of the Lobster Festival, Rockland police responded to 10 car crashes just on Saturday alone, with only one involving a motorcyclist that sustained serious injuries. Around 5:30 p.m., police responded to Park Street where a 20-year-old motorcyclist collided with a car. The cyclist was not wearing a helmet and was taken to Maine Health Penn Bay Hospital for potentially life-threatening injuries. Due to the extent of the injuries, the Knox County District Attorney was notified and the crash reconstructionist from the Maine State Police was also notified. Rockland Police Deputy Chief Alex Gaylor says that no criminal charges have been filed, but believes speed and attention to be factors.
The investigation's ongoing. We are working with the District Attorney's Office to make sure that any questions they have are answered. But at this time, no, we're still waiting on crash reconstruction and whatnot to have a final determination on if there are any charges.
Well, police are reminding drivers to slow down and remain attentive while behind the wheel. We'll have more information on this later in the week. Well, Washington County's leadership is facing renewed instability. This comes after the ousted county manager leveled a wrongful termination lawsuit against 2 commissioners. Our Grace Blanchard explains.
Turmoil strikes Washington County once again as county leadership face a legal battle. County Manager Renee Gray filed a suit last month against Commissioners David Burns and William Howard, alleging wrongful firing.
Having personality differences is not a legal cause to terminate a county manager.
The court issued a temporary restraining order reversing the termination. Gray was placed on paid leave. The complaint alleges the defendants violated state law by not offering a written explanation of cause or giving Gray an opportunity for public hearing, among other violations.
County managers are supposed to stay while the politics of the day come and go. That's the reason why they have certain legal protections that you can't do away with in a contract.
Burns and Howard voted to fire Gray on July 2nd, much to the surprise of Commissioner Courtney Hammond, who says he was blindsided by the move.
No, I've always supported Renee. I've gotten along well with Renee. I have no issues with her performance in the past.
Hammond said Gray was instrumental in addressing the county's recent fiscal challenges.
I'm worried for the county as to what's going to happen with this moving forward. We had worked really hard to get regain the public's trust after the fiscal crisis, and then here we are again in another situation, so to speak.
The case has been moved to federal court. Hammond said his goal is ensuring the legal battle does not disrupt the upcoming budget process.
I'm going to work as hard as I can, to try to make sure that we continue to move forward with the statutory budget process.
We have not received a response from Commissioner Burns or Howard. While the temporary restraining order will remain in place pending a hearing that is yet to be scheduled, Gray remains on paid leave. In Machias, Grace Blanchard, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Well, in other news this morning, the Maine Department of Transportation is going to temporarily close a busy ramp of Interstate 95 in the Bangor-Hamden area. They will be closing the on-ramp from northbound Route 202 to westbound I-395 on August 12th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. for bridge rail work. Drivers that are heading northbound on Route 202 toward 395 should use exit 3B on 395 onto Main Street in Bangor and then take the next ramp to get onto I-395 westbound. Maine DOT says message boards are in place advising of the upcoming closure, and there are detour signs along the route as well. Well, meanwhile, you can now request an absentee ballot for the November election. You can use their online service to request your absentee ballot electronically. That ballot will then be sent to you through the Postal Service and must be returned to your municipal clerk by 8 p.m. on Election Day. New this year, any voter other than a uniformed service or overseas voter can apply for ongoing absentee voter status. A voter that qualifies automatically get an absentee ballot for each statewide election, municipal election, and any other election for which the person is eligible to vote and need not submit a request for each election. Once a ballot request is submitted, Maine voters can track the process of that request and the ballot online. Well, the time now is 6:10. Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, Maine's EMS services are scrambling to adapt to a delayed 2017 federal rule. We'll explain coming up. But first, another look at the forecast. For today, nice day ahead, mostly sunny and windy with temperatures in the mid-80s. Overnight tonight, mostly clear with temperatures dipping down to around 60. And for tomorrow, mostly sunny and very hot, highs around 91. We'll be right back.
Y'all ready for the show to get started? Everybody say yeah. My man touches my blank, I melt.
Feet.
Celebrity Family Feud, Thursday on ABC.
Rennie's, a Maine adventure.
Get to Rennie's for all your back-to-school stuff. We have lots of sneakers for the entire family, plenty of Carhartt, lots of backpacks and books, and
That's
just
11,
get
right?
to Rennie's. I'm not 11.
Disturbing news about threats of violence against women. Is it Graham Plattner again? No, it's Troy Jackson. When a female legislator disagreed with Jackson, he threw a water bottle at her in anger. The woman was deeply frightened. Jackson was known for bullying, and his screaming felt like intentional intimidation. His brash conduct with women raised alarm bells about his temperament. Troy Jackson, another phony we can't trust. Pine Tree Results PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Cancer affects everyone, but there is hope. Northern Light Eastern Maine Medical Center's Champion the Cure Challenge. Make a difference for our loved ones facing cancer at Champion the Cure Challenge, where every dollar raised helps patients in our own backyard. Walk, run, or cycle August 15th. Join the motorcycle ride or car show August 16th. Take the challenge to surround family and friends in cancer treatment. Celebrate survivors, remember loved ones we've lost, and lift up our community. Join us. Visit ctcchallenge.org.
For years, many Maine ambulance services relied on local hospitals to supply important medications. But now, confusion over a 2017 federal rule is forcing them to buy, store, and manage those drugs on their own. And they say that's adding thousands of dollars in new costs. The law was passed in 2017, but the implementation of it was delayed because of COVID. Now it's taking effect, and some EMS agencies are scrambling to adapt as Maine's congressional delegation pushes for answers. WGME's Max Williams has more.
When you need to be rushed to the hospital, life-saving medication is often at paramedics' fingertips.
We gave 272 controlled substances dosage last year.
Lieutenant Ben Guild, who oversees EMS for South Portland Fire, says controlled substances like ketamine or fentanyl are most commonly used for pain relief. For years, those medications were supplied by hospitals. That was before the rule change.
We're maintaining it, we're keeping account of it, and the hospitals are kind of out of the play, if you will. They're out of question.
The DEA is now implementing a rule requiring controlled substances to be delivered to a registered EMS agency or hospital. Under the rule, hospitals can only distribute those medications to EMS agencies operating under the hospital's DEA registration. Some Maine hospitals now believe they can no longer supply independent EMS agencies. The DEA, however, says the registration is not a requirement and does not replace any previous compliant arrangements to provide patient care and emergency services to the public.
It allows us, the department, to purchase our medications how we want them.
The conflicting interpretations have put stress of making sure they are fully stocked with meds on EMS agencies like South Portland.
Same thing with the room itself. There's a key code.
A secured, roughly $20,000 controlled substance vending machine is now the newest addition to the department.
This is going to ambulance 43, and then it opens up, and then it allows you to withdraw. This is the narcotics kit itself. So here's our fentanyl, our Versed, and our ketamine.
It may look easy now, but Lieutenant Guild says getting here took time.
This, unfortunately, has been a lot of my life for the last few months.
And some extra money in medication expenses.
And I can see how a smaller service may have some challenges with this because they may not have the funds that we do.
Those concerns have now reached Maine's congressional delegation. In a letter to the DEA, lawmakers say the current confusion is creating what they call a crippling operational and financial burden for EMS agencies and are urging the agency to issue clarifying guidance.
And that was Max Williams reporting there. Well, meanwhile, a concert will be held in Bangor's Chapin Park tonight, and it's completely free to the public. The Bangor Band, in collaboration with the Thomas School of Dance, is hosting a free community concert at Chapin Park. The concert will begin at 6:30 tonight, and along with the music, there will be a performance by the Thomas School of Dance as well. Bangor Band member Andina Salzman says that the live music is more than just entertainment. It's also a chance to build community and relieve some stress.
When you are sitting at a live concert surrounded by your neighbors in lawn chairs with a picnic, it's a happening. It's something that raises your spirits, and whatever you have going on in your life that maybe isn't the best, you can shed that for an hour.
The concert is part of the Bangor Band's yearly summer concert series, where the band plays at various parks across the greater Bangor area at no cost to the audience. The band says that this performance is specifically catered towards a younger audience. Along with their usual marches, the band will play songs from Moana and Wicked and encourages Bangor's youth to come experience live music. The Bangor Band will hold its final summer series concert on Tuesday, August 11th at VZ Community School. The time now is 6:16. After the break, more information on the parasite outbreak and the first deaths linked to that. We'll have more ahead. Plus, a mom in Augusta is bringing watercolor to life and has started a greeting card company. Those stories and more straight ahead on Good Morning Maine.
The right dock should fit your shoreline and make life on the water easier, more rewarding, and more fun. When you choose Shoremaster from Hammond Lumber Company, you get all that, along with unmatched strength, versatility, and style. Shoremaster's tool-free Infinity Track system makes adding accessories a breeze. Hammond also offers poly-dock floating docks, perfect for deep or fluctuating waters. Transform your waterfront into your personal paradise with a Shoremaster Infinity Dock system or floating poly-dock system from Hammond Lumber Company.
Why should your new floor come from Carpet One? Because we're passionate about the spaces our neighbors call home. We're part of your community, and we're also part of the world's largest cooperative of independently owned and operated flooring stores. So you can be sure you'll get great selection and outstanding value with every installation. Whether it's carpet, hardwood, tile, or luxury vinyl, our experts take the guesswork out of choosing the right floor. We're your local Carpet One Floor and Home, the one store for your perfect floor.
For the best selection in classic and contemporary furnishings, stop by Richard Parks Furniture on High Street in Ellsworth. Handcrafted New England-made bedrooms and dining rooms, imported Scandinavian recliners and upholstery, more than 40 lines of furniture for the home and patio. Richard Parks Furniture is your #1 stop for quality, functionality, and well-designed furniture at affordable prices. Richard Parks Furniture.
Discover Richard Parks.
132 High Street in Ellsworth.
Discover Richard.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, sending or receiving a greeting card has almost become a lost art nowadays, but one family in Augusta is hoping to change that one piece of mail at a time. Our Jody Hersey shares more.
Now, the eyes are so important that you have to remember to put a dot of light in the eyes.
In her home studio in Augusta, Leanne Morin uses watercolors to bring a sparrow to life.
Because it's such a beautiful bird.
For as long as she can remember, this mom of 3 has always wanted a greeting card company.
The reason I wanted to do greeting cards, it really is a way for people to connect with each other. And whether it's funny or heartfelt, it's just such an important thing, I think, especially as busy as everybody is.
So in 2016, Leanne created Painted Turtle Illustrations, a t-shirt and greeting card business. Leanne did all the artwork, and her daughter Kate handled the online marketing.
The response was great right away. People really connected with the designs and really loved them.
When Kate stepped away from the business to become a stay-at-home mom, her sister Margaret stepped in. The company dropped the t-shirt line and was renamed Firefly Sky Design.
I'm glad I've evolved back to just the greeting cards.
She's had the opportunity now for the last 10 years to really put her artwork out there and have people enjoy it.
Leanne says Mother Nature offers her an endless supply of inspiration, and having the opportunity to work alongside her daughters has been just as rewarding. In Augusta, I'm Jody Hersey for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
If you would like to check out Morin's greeting cards, you can find all of her designs at fireflyskydesign.com. Well, the time now is 6:20. Let's get a full look at our forecast. Meteorologist Evan Biggs is in with the latest.
Alrighty, Janessa, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Tick and Mosquito Guard. We stop ticks and mosquitoes. Now serving Washington, Hancock, and Penobscot counties. We are pet safe and have eco-friendly options available. Call today for a free quote, 207-263-3421. Alrighty, here we go. There's that small craft advisory that is posted until 8 p.m. as we head towards this evening as we watch active surf that is currently taking place along the coast. There's also a wind advisory further off towards the north that will last until 3 p.m. as we head towards this afternoon. Let's check out the wave heights. Very active right now. The buoy's picking up 4 to 5 foot wave heights, but further off towards the north and east, the contours watching for more active surf at this time. Checking out the buoys further out towards sea, 5 to 8 foot wave heights currently being measured at this time. Water temperatures are currently in the lower to middle 60s, closer toward land, a little bit cooler further off towards the north and east. We also have some 60s and even some 70s currently being measured at this time. Meanwhile, we do have the area low pressure that is moving away, and it is taking a precipitation with it. There was a storm in Canada earlier. You can see that right there. That has since fizzled out. But of course, the wind will be the big story today as this thing moves away. Eventually, high pressure will move in, and that will help to calm the winds down. Futurecast for us today, we will have a mostly sunny sky, although it will be windy out there. We do need to wait until tonight before the winds finally relax, and then once we head towards your Wednesday, another nice day out there with lots of sunshine. You may notice some passing clouds at times, but overall still a nice day pushing forward. And then once we head towards Wednesday night and Thursday morning, a few more clouds will be approaching. Your forecast for today, mostly sunny, definitely windy out there with highs in the mid 80s and that west wind getting up to about 30 miles per hour. By tonight, mostly clear with lows in the low 60s. Look at that wind, definitely calming down. Once we head towards tomorrow, mostly sunny, getting hot out there with highs in the low 90s and that southwest wind getting up to about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Let's check out your extended forecast for your Thursday. Partly cloudy, still hot with highs in the low 90s, still low 90s for your Friday with a chance for showers and thunderstorms. And Saturday, showers and thunderstorms continue with highs in the upper 80s.
Susan Collins broke her promise to protect Roe v. Wade. When Donald Trump called, she cast the deciding vote for his Supreme Court justices who overturned Roe v. Wade. And she voted to put more than 100 Trump judges on the bench. States are banning abortion without exceptions, and women are dying. But Susan Collins says,
I do not regret that vote.
Tell Susan Collins to stop breaking her word. Stop voting for Trump's anti-choice judges.
ABC 7, Fox 22. The place we call home, telling main stories wherever you roam. From sunrise shores to forests of pine, hard work, strong hearts, values that shine. From old towns to harbors, back roads to ocean blue. Neighbors helping neighbors in all that we do. Through storms and clear skies, day after day, we're here with the stories that matter in Maine.
watching ABC 7 Bangor.
More conflicting messaging on the war with Iran. While President Trump says talks are underway with Iran, Iran denies that. ABC's Karen Watt is in Washington with more.
This morning, President Trump's ultimatum to Iran. He says Iran has one more chance to make a deal or else face a major bombing.
I'm very proud of the fact that I'll give people a chance. This is a big move. To do an attack that big on a country, I'd rather not do it.
But this is at least the 7th time the president has threatened a new attack, only to call it off, claiming progress on peace talks. While Trump says negotiations are going on, Iran says this isn't true.
For some reason, when they're talking, they don't like saying that they're talking. So I say, wait, we're in talks. Big deal.
While the president's decision to go to war with Iran is a big part of why the cost of gas has skyrocketed, Trump is now slamming America's biggest oil companies for making too much money, ordering them to cut prices. Chevron just reported $12 billion in second quarter profits, nearly 5 times what it made a year ago. Gas now averages $4.09 a gallon, more than $1 higher since the war began. An industry trade group is firing back, insisting those higher prices are driven by global supply and uncertainty around the Strait of Hormuz, and not by any one company. Some Democratic lawmakers placing the blame on Trump.
At this point, he's trying to get us back to February. The president is the one that has to try to figure out a way out of this.
President Trump claims once the war is over, gas prices will drop dramatically, but experts say they will likely not return to pre-war prices for a while. Karen Hua, ABC News, Washington.
Meanwhile, the Board of Peace meets with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu this week to discuss a new disarmament deal with the militant group Hamas. According to the statement by the Board of Peace, a board envoy met with the Prime Minister on Monday to discuss a new deal announced by President Trump last week. The deal calls for the complete decommissioning of weapons held by Hamas and would require Israel to end its strikes and withdraw from the Gaza Strip. Hamas said laying down its weapons would be contingent on the creation of a Palestinian state, a condition Israel's current government rejects. But the board says that Monday's meeting with Netanyahu was, quote, constructive and detailed. According to 2 people familiar with the meeting, the board pressed the prime minister to halt Israeli strikes on the Gaza Strip. The organization is also reportedly pressuring the country to stop striking Gaza as it plans to push forward on the agreement. In a statement, Hamas said it and other various Palestinian factions remain committed to what was, quote, agreed regarding the implementation of the second phase of the ceasefire agreement, including all parties' obligations. The militant group says it is waiting on an official response from the board regarding what was agreed on Monday. When we now turn to the mother on trial for the deaths of her 3 children. Jurors at the Lindsay Clancy trial outside of Boston heard about entries in her journal months earlier saying she was, quote, desperate to get a break from taking care of everyone. ABC's Sophie Flay with more.
Emotional testimony in the trial of Lindsay Clancy, the Massachusetts mother accused of killing her 3 young children, as jurors consider whether her mental state at the time makes her criminally responsible. Prosecutors argue Clancy planned and carried out the murders. They say she then tried to take her own life by jumping from the 2nd-story window of the family's home, leaving her paralyzed. Clancy admitted to the killings but pleaded not guilty. Her lawyers argue she was suffering from postpartum psychosis, a severe mental health condition they say left her legally insane. In court Monday, lawyers read entries from Clancy's journal, where she described feeling overwhelmed.
It's like I'm desperate to get a mental break from taking care of everyone. My mind is trying to make something physically wrong with me. My mind never shuts off. It's constantly thinking of the next thing someone needs. I can't shut it off.
Her defense says those writings show a mother struggling with severe postpartum psychiatric illness. But prosecutors argue the journal shows she wanted to escape her current life and point to testimony about how Clancy appeared in the days after the killings.
In your conversation with Ms. Clancy, did you notice any internal or external signs of psychosis?
At the time, I documented that I did not note those.
On cross-examination, the defense pointed out the doctor met with Clancy only once and argued psychosis can present differently from person to person.
Testimony resumes today. If Clancy is convicted, she could face life in prison without parole. If you or someone you know is struggling, you can call the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline at 988. Sophie Flay, ABC News, New York.
Now to a man from Spokane, Washington, and he was arrested on Monday and charged with setting one of the devastating wildfires that has destroyed hundreds of homes and other structures around the state. The Spokane County Sheriff's Office says that Aaron Farnacci, 37, was arrested and booked on suspicion of first-degree arson in connection with the Old Trails fire, the largest of the 3 blazes burning around Spokane. Together, the fires have destroyed at least 700 buildings and forced about 67,000 people to evacuate. Authorities haven't stated a possible cause for the other 2 fires quite yet. A tip from a community member who saw a nervous-looking man bent by the side of the road near some grass initially led authorities to Farnacci, though they released him after initial questioning. Later, when major crimes detectives started investigating using body-worn cameras and different reports, they again identified Farnacci and determined that the fire had started where the witness had seen him. His first court appearance will be today. Well, now to the parasite outbreak linked to lettuce and the first deaths reported from the outbreak. This comes as a report sheds new light on when Taco Bell was first notified about a potential problem. Here's ABC's Lionel Moyes.
This morning, the parasite outbreak linked to lettuce turning deadly, with 2 deaths now reported in Michigan, where we've seen the most cases.
It still remains an illness that, for most patients, we are able to treat successfully as outpatients.
Officials say both had significant underlying health conditions that may have been worsened by cyclosporiasis and dehydration.
If you add cyclosporiasis as the 5th or 6th problem on their list, it stands to reason that there are some patients that might not be able to withstand the dehydration that can come with severe cyclosporiasis.
Nationwide, more than 18,000 people have gotten sick in 45 states. The FDA has linked the outbreak in Michigan and 8 other states to iceberg lettuce, sourced by Taylor Farms in central Mexico and served at some Taco Bell restaurants. But now, new questions about whether customers could have been informed sooner. Bloomberg reports Michigan health officials were in touch with Taco Bell's parent company, Yum Brands, weeks before customers found out. Officials reportedly reached out July 2nd to discuss intervention or notification to reduce future cases. It wasn't until July 17th when Taco Bell issued a public statement saying it worked swiftly to remove the lettuce based on ongoing conversations with public health officials. As many families change their eating habits, some avoiding lettuce altogether, concern in North Carolina about other fresh produce. Officials have not identified the source for the more than 700 cases there, but say many of those sickened reported eating parsley and cilantro. As for the Michigan outbreak, officials say the number of new cases being reported is slowing, a sign that contaminated products may no longer be on the market. Lionel Moyes, ABC News, New York.
Well, in other news, a SpaceX rocket is set to crash into the moon in a day after completing a previous mission. The top of the rocket is expected to unintentionally smash into the moon on Wednesday. The collision is expected to happen more than a year after the rocket launched a pair of lunar landers into space. Space experts predict the rocket will strike the moon on its sunlit western limb at around 5,400 miles per hour, which is 7 times the speed of sound. Experts say the eastern part of the U.S. and Canada and most of South America will have the best views, but while the collision will be most likely too dim to see, there's a potential for materials ejected from the impact to be viewed several minutes after. Space experts say that the crash could have been avoided if the top of the rocket was directed into orbit around the sun. Wednesday's collision will mark the second time a dead rocket slammed into the moon. The last collision took place when a piece of a Chinese rocket hit the moon's far side back in 2022. Well, coming up on the second half of the newscast, we'll take a look at a very unusual catch off the coast of Massachusetts. This and more as Good Morning Maine continues.
Water, nature's ultimate cleaner. We drink it, we bathe in it. Think water, think steam, think clean. Now harness the power of water with the H2O X5 5-in-1 steam cleaning system.
I'm so impressed with the X5.
It's an all-in-one product. I can use it throughout my entire house.
It's cleaning, it's sanitizing, there's no chemicals in it. It's just steam.
This is unbelievable. There is no more odor.
5 minutes, I'm done. Look at that, it's amazing.
If you're ready to step into an effective, economical, and eco-safe world of cleaning, look no further than the H2O X5. Using just the power of superheated water, the X5 super hot steam cleans and kills up to 99% of germs, viruses, and bacteria. You could spend over $500 to purchase the products that the X5 5-in-1 Miracle replaces. But through this special TV offer, you won't spend $400, $300, or even $200. Order your H2O X5 steam cleaning system, a $500 value, for just 4 easy payments of $43. You'll get the X5 steam mop with microfiber pad, the carpet glider, the handheld scrubber, the window glass and mirror attachment, and the garment and upholstery bonnet. It's a complete 10-piece system, all this for just 4 easy payments of $43. But it gets even better. Order now and we'll upgrade your X5 package. We'll add a 6th mode with a dusting and polishing wand. Valued at over $30, this extra bonus attachment makes your H2O X5 the H2O X6. That means your 10-piece system becomes a 12-piece system at no extra cost to you. If after 30 days you're not absolutely delighted, send it back for a full refund of the purchase price. Don't wait. Now's your chance to own the X5 for just 4 easy payments, and we'll make the first payment for you. You get the X5 incredible 5-in-1 lightweight, powerful 12-piece steam cleaning system, a $500 value, all for just 3 easy payments of $43. This offer can't last forever, so call or click right now.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
During Halloween, it can be a real disaster when you run out of candy. But residents in one neighborhood in Alabama were more than happy to stock up early, shortly after the 4th of July, and it will be to help one of their younger neighbors celebrate his birthday with his favorite activity. Here's ABC's Danny New.
Okay, stand back. You might not expect to go trick-or-treating when there are still 4th of July decorations up.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday! But it's also not every day that Soren turns 11.
He was so happy. I mean, he was on a mission.
A few weeks ago, this neighborhood in Alabama came together to help Soren enjoy one of his favorite activities on his special day, with 83 different families volunteering.
But we didn't get to them all. We got to 70 houses.
I was going to say, it was going to get tired at some point. It was a long day.
He wasn't tired.
His mom, Leah, says this took months of planning and coordinating.
Take the cake.
Good
job. Happy birthday.
She first got the idea because Soren, who has autism, just loves trick-or-treating and would often put on one of his costumes, grab a bucket, and then
He would say, okay, time to trick or treat. And he would be repeating that over and over.
But what Leah did not expect was for so many of her neighbors to immediately respond to her Facebook post on the community page, and that none of them would take her up on her offer to provide the candy herself.
We got you a whole bag here.
Oh my gosh, thanks guys.
Instead, many families surprised Soren with not only his favorite candy, but also Lego sets and Play-Doh. Not to mention, many of the homes were decorated with happy birthday signs.
We severely underestimated how many bags we needed.
But maybe the best part was that Soren got to meet so many of the other kids in the community, and now neighbors are coming up to him all the time.
The other day we went to the pool and like 4 or 5 people were trying to talk to him about his birthday. My overwhelming feeling was really just like relief, because I know he's safe here.
By the way, Leah said that many of those kids who opened the door have now told their parents that they want to go trick-or-treating this Halloween with Soren. In New York, for ABC News, I'm Danny New.
Well, now let's turn things right back over to meteorologist Devin Biggs.
Alrighty, Janessa, thank you very much. Happy Tuesday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Tick and Mosquito Guard. We stop ticks and mosquitoes. Now serving Washington, Hancock, and Penobscot counties. We are pet safe and have eco-friendly options available. Call today for a free quote. 207-263-3421. Alrighty, let's get into things this morning. We have a small craft advisory that is up until 8 p.m. as we head towards later on this evening. Watching for some active surf along the coast, courtesy of some gusty winds with an area of low pressure. Farther off towards the north, we do have a wind advisory up until 3 o'clock this afternoon. As we do push forward, the rain is moving out of here. We did have a thunderstorm in Canada earlier this morning. That has since fizzled out. Let's zoom things out right now, too. You notice some precipitation over the ocean. The area low pressure is tracking off to the north and east and taking the clouds with it. We will have a lot of sunshine today, which will be good, but it will be windy out there, too, with gusty winds up to 30 miles per hour. We will be mostly clear tonight as the winds back off. The hourly forecast, lots of sunshine today. It will be windy out there as temperatures warm into the mid-80s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Janessa?
Thank you, Devin. Well, now for the latest on what's happening in Hollywood, here's ABC's Melissa Dawn.
What is happening to me?
Spider-Man Brand New Day is finally hitting IMAX theaters after setting opening weekend records. The superhero movie will start playing in IMAX on August 6th, now that the Odyssey's exclusive window is over.
I thought I was your sword. Now I have to feel her shoes.
We've got our first trailer for Mahershala Ali's next movie, Your Mother, Your Mother, Your Mother. The two-time Academy Award winner plays a religious hitman navigating single fatherhood after the death of his wife. The film hits theaters September 25th.
Nice, Greta, right here.
And happy birthday to actress and director Greta Gerwig. She's 43 today. And that's what's happening in Hollywood. Melissa Dawn, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Well, still to come here this morning, Jack Webb with sports. Don't go away.
We can go into a room and have absolutely nothing in there, nothing on the windows, no color, no character, no tone to a room.
That's, I think, where we're strongest, is being able to help someone envision what's going to go in that window.
And we leave, it's totally transformed into something that the customer wants it to be. We've often been told we make a room look better just by leaving it.
Webb's RV Center has a 4-acre lot with over 75 previously owned campers all on sale, plus another 4 acres of new RVs and motorhomes. Webb's RV will take anything in trade. You can buy a camper anywhere, but be sure to buy your next camper at your local neighbor. A website can't service your RV, but Webb's RV will. And they have the biggest service department in the state of Maine to help you enjoy your RV or motorhome.
So come on down, neighbor. The coffee pot's on and the pencil is sharp.
Invest in your nest with the County Federal Credit Union. Your home has grown in value season after season. With the county's 10-10 Home Equity Line of Credit, you can borrow up to your credit limit over 10 years with interest-only payments over those 10 years, 10-10. And then you can stop and smell the roses, soak up the sun, and invest in your nest. The 10-10 Home Equity Line of Credit, the County Federal Credit Union, countyfcu.org.
ABC 7 and Fox 22's Jack Webb, named Maine's Sportscaster of the Year by the National Sports Media Association.
Welcome back in, folks. The Boston Red Sox were the story of Monday for their play on the field and moves made at the deadline, but we will start on the diamond. The Sox completed the sweep of the Los Angeles Dodgers with an 8-4 win on Sunday Night Baseball in front of the entire country as they continue this miraculous run of winning. They've won 9 of their last 10 series with sweeps over the Yankees, the White Sox, and the Rays in that span. Now the Dodgers, and they've stormed into the month of August in the best possible way. They've given their front office enough of a reason to make another move before Monday's deadline of 6 p.m., and that's exactly what they went and did. The Sox acquiring all-star catcher Adley Rutschman from the Baltimore Orioles along with Jake Rogers in exchange for Red Sox catcher Carlos Narvaez and 3 major minor league prospects, including Sea Dogs all-star pitcher Anthony Eisen And 28-year-old Rutschman is a former first overall pick. He's battled through injuries this season, but is still hitting .251 with 8 home runs. He's a switch-hitting catcher who fills a major void and will give the Red Sox offense an added boost when he returns from injury. Rutschman is still on the 10-day injured list, and before you say the prospects they gave up are too valuable, just listen to Maine's own Tom Caron.
Can we also just pump the brakes, as you like to say, and stop on how much they gave up? As you said, forget about who you gave up. This is what the Red Sox used to do.
It's the cost of doing business.
But they haven't been like this in a while, right? You haven't seen them. And you could say, you know, it was Connolly early, too much to give up for Curtis Meade. Maybe, but I'd rather have a team that is in the hunt and is willing to give up trade capital, prospect capital, to get a guy that puts them over the edge. That means they're trying to win now. I've had enough of prospect rankings. I want parades.
I love it.
And honestly, TC is correct. It takes great minor league players to make for great major league players when you're making a trade. That's just the reality of the situation. The Sox also acquired Eli White from the Atlanta Braves, a 32-year-old speedster outfielder, adds depth to that unit. And they've also dealt Marcelo Meyer to the San Francisco Giants. Meyer was once thought to be the future shortstop for years to come in Boston, but now at just 23 years old, he is a San Francisco Giant. Many will wonder where he went wrong, and that will be discussed. But in return, the Red Sox received left-handed pitcher Eric Miller. The 28-year-old holds a 2.76 ERA this season, over 32 2/3 innings. The 6'5" monster adds to the Sox' already strong pitching staff. Expect him in a late-inning role. He truly is a beast. I'm excited to see him in a Red Sox uniform. We'll swing it over to the Patriots now quickly. They practiced inside on Monday, and A.J. Brown dislocated his thumb, but he toughed it out and stayed in practice. Here he was on the NFL Network after the training session.
It was tough. I tried to get back into that flow state zone really quickly because obviously, you know, you're going through a little quick some pain, you know, because obviously the game is what it is, and you're going to get bumps and bruises, and you got to keep going. I know it's practice, but I'm not coming out of practice if thumb out of place. You keep going. You keep going.
No, you go like this one.
No.
I mean, you're saying thumb out of place, no big. Like that's a big thing. But you popped it right back in. Have you had that happen to you before?
Yeah, I dislocated the same thumb actually in college. I played the rest of the season. I did it probably like week 4 against Arkansas, and I played the rest of the season, and I came out that year.
So you just pop it right back in. You finish. Do you have to now go get treatment or anything? Or is
I'm gonna do a little treatment on it, but you know, obviously, you know, stem and ice, is what they say.
Ice and stim is pretty funny. They used to tell you that every time you went into the training room for an injury, it seemed like. For now, that's all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
The Farmer's Table in Corinna brings you outstanding breakfasts, lunches, and dinners made from farm-grown fresh ingredients. Dinner specials are available every day. Enjoy our homemade desserts, and above all, bring your appetite to the Farmer's Table in Corinna.
Mold isn't that scary or expensive to remove, but it's best to call the professionals at Penobscot Cleaning Services. We'll do a thorough assessment and recommend the best process for your situation. Basement to attic, homes or offices. Eliminate unhealthy air and related health issues. Trust our 40-year reputation. Call Penobscot Cleaning Services today. Go from mold to sold.
Keep your boat safe, functional, and beautiful with a Shoremaster boat lift from Hammond Lumber Company. Your Hammond sales rep can help you choose the perfect lift for your boat. Shoremaster's exclusive Whisper winch offers the industry's smoothest and quietest operation. Add speed and convenience with a Shoremaster lift motor. And Shoremaster's modular Infinity design makes it easy to upgrade with accessories when you're ready. Take your boating experience to the next level with a Shoremaster boat lift from Hammond Lumber Company.
The Farmer's Table in Corinna brings you outstanding breakfasts, lunches, and dinners made from farm-grown fresh ingredients. Dinner specials are available every day. Enjoy our homemade desserts, and above all, bring your appetite to the Farmer's Table in Corinna.
Welcome back, everyone. Now to the summer of sharks and a different kind of catch, shining a spotlight on warmer ocean temperatures. Here's ABC's Sophie Flay.
It's the kind of catch usually seen in the Caribbean, not off New England.
Two brothers fishing on a Massachusetts beach got the surprise of their lives, reeling in this 5-foot tiger shark, a tropical species scientists say is showing up farther north because of warmer ocean waters.
I saw those horizontal, those lines, indicating that it was a tiger shark, which was super cool. Immediately I started yelling at my brother. I was like, it's a tiger shark. And he was in disbelief.
Tiger sharks can grow more than 15 feet and weigh up to 1,400 pounds and are famous for eating almost anything. License plates and shoes have been found in their stomachs.
It's a southern warm water species being caught on rod and reel off the beach on Cape Cod. That just doesn't happen.
The water temperature is getting up into the high 70s and will eventually hit the low 80s. And that's, perfect for these little juvenile tiger sharks.
Meanwhile, shark sightings are also up this year on the West Coast. A new autopsy confirms a shark bite killed a woman swimming near Monterey, California last December. Sophie Flay, ABC News, New York.
Well, now here's meteorologist Evan Biggs with our full weather forecast.
Alrighty, Janessa, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Tick and Mosquito Guard. We stop ticks and mosquitoes. Now serving Washington, Hancock, and Penobscot counties. We are pet safe and have eco-friendly options available. Call today for a free quote, 207-263-3421. Alrighty, here we go. There's that small craft advisory that is posted until 8 p.m. as we head towards this evening as we watch active surf that is currently taking place along the coast. There's also a wind advisory farther off towards the north that will last until 3 p.m. as we head towards this afternoon. Let's check out the wave heights. Very active right now. The buoy's picking up 4 to 5 foot wave heights, but farther off towards the north and east, the contours watching for more active surf at this time. Checking out the buoys farther out towards sea, 5 to 8 foot wave heights currently being measured at this time. Water temperatures are currently in the lower to middle 60s, closer toward land, a little bit cooler further off towards the north and east. We also have some 60s and even some 70s currently being measured at this time. Meanwhile, we do have the area low pressure that is moving away, and it is taking a precipitation with it. There was a storm in Canada earlier. You can see that right there. That has since fizzled out. But of course, the wind will be the big story today as this thing moves away. Eventually, high pressure will move in, and that will help to calm the winds down. Futurecast for us today, we will have a mostly sunny sky, although it will be windy out there. We do need to wait until tonight before the winds finally relax. And then once we head towards your Wednesday, another nice day out there with lots of sunshine. You may notice some passing clouds at times, but overall still a nice day pushing forward. And then once we head towards Wednesday night and Thursday morning, a few more clouds will be approaching. Your forecast for it today, mostly sunny, definitely windy out there with highs in the mid 80s and that west wind getting up to about 30 miles per hour. By tonight, mostly clear with lows in the low 60s. Look at that wind, definitely calming down. Once we head towards tomorrow, mostly sunny, getting hot out there with highs in the low 90s and that southwest wind getting up to about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Let's check out your extended forecast for your Thursday. Partly cloudy, still hot with highs in the low 90s, still low 90s for your Friday with a chance for showers and thunderstorms. And Saturday, showers and thunderstorms continue with highs in the upper 80s.
Davis Brothers Furniture is expanding. At Davis Brothers, we've always strived to stand out from the rest, and we are now proud to offer flooring for your home, featuring both carpeting and luxury vinyl flooring. We even have an installer in-house with over 30 years of experience. Come see the reason people have been traveling from all over the state and beyond to Davis Brothers Furniture in Guilford for decades. Davis Brothers Furniture, deliberately different, delivering statewide.
Troy Jackson bragged about being one of Graham Plattner's earliest supporters. When the news of Plattner's Nazi tattoo came out, Jackson stood with Plattner. When Plattner blamed women for getting raped because they get drunk, Jackson stood by Plattner. And when the media reported Plattner was violent toward women, Jackson stood again with Plattner.
I want to say thank you very much to Troy.
Don't be fooled by Troy Jackson. He's another phony we can't trust. Pine Tree Results Pack is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Are you experiencing foot pain? Comfort Shoes & More has a team of experts trained in pet orthotics to help you find relief. They offer tailored fittings, shoe modifications, customized orthotics, and much more for the ordinary or for the hard-to-fit foot, with fashionable and functional footwear from today's top brands: Hoka, Brooks, Keen, Teva, Taos, Ufus, and Birkenstocks. From running to walking, casual or dress, they have it all. Take the drive to Newport for a sit and fit to find your perfect fit. You and your feet will be glad you did.
Let's play Millionaire.
Famous friends are in the hot seat, and they're looking to win big money for charity.
What's an ophthalmologist? That's eye. That's not bug, is it?
That sounded pretty sure to me.
Jimmy Kimmel hosts The Emmy-winning Millionaire, Wednesday on ABC.
The fun never stops at Wheel.
You got it! It's a car! You're a millionaire!
Weekdays at 7 on ABC 7.
University of San Diego women's basketball team players help the local animal shelter as it faces overcrowding. Lady Torero's players making meatball dinners and spending quality time with adorable dogs. It's much needed support, as the Humane Society says. It is their 11th consecutive month of record-breaking numbers of adult dogs waiting for a home. The shelter currently has more than 2,000 pets, more in the month of July this year than in 2024 altogether. Despite their busy travel schedules, the basketball players say their efforts are well worth it. While they can't take the dogs home themselves yet, the team members spread awareness about the adoptable dogs via social media. Meanwhile, the San Diego Humane Society asked the community to do their part to help all of the pups. As part of the San Diego's Humane Society's Clear the Shelters campaign, dogs and cats will be 50% off for the month of August. How nice is that? Well, meanwhile, a British zoo reveals the name of its new Asian elephant calf nearly 2 months after its birth, Mi Anusan, which in Thailand means remembrance. The male calf was born on June 8th at the WVII Zoo, but the zoo waited until Monday to announce his name, since August is Asian Elephant Awareness Month. The name Anusan, shortened to Anu by zookeepers, was picked following a special fundraising appeal that gave the Conservation Zoo supporters the chance to choose his name. Aoife Daly of London got special honors for her entry that named Anu, praising the WVII Zoo for the care given to the species threatened in the wild by habitat loss, habitat fragmentation, and climate change as well. Well, that's all the time that we have left for this hour, but you can join us for the second hour of Good Morning Maine. That's next on Fox 22. Have a great day, everyone.
For the best selection in classic and contemporary furnishings, stop by Richard Parks Furniture on High Street in Ellsworth. Handcrafted New England-made bedrooms and dining rooms, imported Scandinavian recliners and upholstery, more than 40 lines of furniture for the home and patio. Richard Parks Furniture is your #1 stop for quality, functionality, and well-designed furniture at affordable prices. Richard Parks Furniture.
Discover Richard Parks.
132 High Street in Ellsworth.
Discover Richard.
Hi folks, Joe Namath here. Did you know that I wear hearing aids? I was wearing those expensive hearing aids for years, and I didn't know any better until a good friend of mine told me about MD Hearing. I thought the price was too good to be true, but I bought a pair anyway. No doctor visit, no prescription, no hassle. It was easy. When they showed up, I called and spoke to Sandy, one of their audiologists, to make sure the hearing aids fit and work the way I need it. And they do that for everyone, not just me.
Call now and get 2 rechargeable Neo hearing aids for just $297 with a free portable charging case and free shipping. The rechargeable Neo is nearly invisible with its tiny in-the-ear canal design. And you can get 2 rechargeable Neo hearing aids with a 45-day risk-free trial, free shipping, and free lifetime U.S.-based support for only $297.
I started hearing things I haven't heard in a long time. I didn't realize how bad my hearing was until I got the hearing aids.
I've never had a better pair of hearing aids. I wear them all the time, and I'm even wearing them now. Call my friends at MD Hearing and get my favorite over-the-counter hearing aids for you.
Call now and get 2 rechargeable Neo hearing aids for just $297 with a free portable charging case and free shipping.
Call 800-604-1487. 800-604-1487.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Good morning, America.
To the Rockbound Coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello, everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, officials are investigating a fatal crash in Hancock County that occurred in Goldsboro. We'll have those details coming up. Plus, Washington County leadership is currently facing a legal battle. We'll bring you the very latest on that as well. And the Bangor Band and Thomas School of Dance are hosting a free summer concert tonight. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Janessa Bishop. Craig Colson is off for the day. We'll have those stories and much more coming up, including a live interview. And as always, we thank you for joining us. Now for the weather today, it seems like sunny skies are on the way with temperatures reaching the 80s. Let's start off this morning by getting a first check of our forecast. Devin Biggs joins us now.
Alrighty, Janessa, thank you very much. Happy Tuesday.